Hi, my name is Michelle Bontrager, and I would like to share a plan with you today on rebuilding a remote community in Africa that's been affected by extended drought. I completed this plan with Colorado State University and coursework for my certification in applied global stability. This particular plan is based upon the premise of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals that they set forth to be completed by the year 2030. Goal number 15 in particular is a call to protect, restore, and promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Now, we know governments across the world are grappling with these UN Sustainable Development Goals at a very slow pace. In the meantime, there are real needs with attainable solutions, and I believe we're capable of accepting the responsibility of helping our world neighbors. I'd like to describe a situation in northern Namibia, which really exemplifies the climatic trend of prolonged drought and unpredictable weather patterns. It's a semi-arid region with ancient mountain ranges. It's absolutely beautiful. And typically, they rely upon annual rain events that happen at the first quarter of the year in the Angola highlands, in which the rainwater will drain into the Kunini River Basin, which lends its name to the entire region of the northern part of Namibia that borders southern Angola. Now, this region is home to around 56,000 semi-nomadic pastoralists called the Himba. The Himba have consciously avoided modern culture for generation upon generation and are the last remaining indigenous tribe in Namibia. They rely upon the natural resources for food, safe water, and fiber. In 2018, I had the distinct pleasure of visiting a Himba family here. And as I entered their village, I noticed, at least to my eye, that the landscape looked very degraded. And I asked the family, is this normal? Does your landscape usually look like this? And they said no. They had not received their annual rainfall event for the last 4 years. So this persistent drought cycle had caused their natural springs to dry, and the watershed was just unable to recharge. So they were dependent on a borehole for all of their water needs. Now, as you examine the Himba lifestyle, they're completely innocent of contributing to global climate change, yet it is global climate change that's threatening their very existence. The UN recognizes this problem and promotes a paradigm now called ecosystem-based adaptation, in which community development is performed in conjunction with long-lasting environmental conservation plans. Rural communities around the world and in Africa rely upon the unique natural resources of where they live. And the community-based adaptation model recognizes that these communities require unique solutions to the problems they face. I'm introducing a 3-step process that falls within the UN's paradigm of ecosystem-based adaptation, which will include engagement with the Himba community, education of ecology and basic science, and empowerment for developing a plan for a sustainable future. The environmental or community development officer, me, would live in Epupa Falls, the meeting place in community social center of the Kunini region. In Epupa Falls, I would first need to engage with the Himba community and most likely drill a new borehole. Since I have visited in 2018, the borehole that they had relied upon has collapsed. And so now the government is supporting the Himba with food and water aid. The Himba have lost all of their livestock, and this is just not a sustainable future for the community. So a borehole will bring some normality and safe drinking water back so we can proceed with planning for the future. By living in Epupa Falls for 2 years, I'll be able to learn the language and infiltrate the community, find innovators in the Himba society that are willing to work with me, and we'll begin educating and new programming on describing ecology and climatic events and how they're affecting their very lifestyle. First course of action after drilling the borehole will be to perform listening sessions with the herdsmen. Now, it's important for the community development officer to understand what their perceptions are and introduce the idea of a coalition. This is a highly social society based on traditional gender roles, so it's essential that I hire a male assistant in order to facilitate these listening sessions and also to demonstrate my respect for their traditional values. I expect that the Himba women will be the first adopters of an organized community development plan. For they're at home, they're responsible for drawing water every day, for taking care of the children and preparing meals. Really, their work and lifestyle is most directly affected by the lack of natural resources. Um, NGOs and researchers have been present in northern Namibia and the Kunini region with wonderful plans, but they have really failed to follow through with any long-lasting progress. To be frank, a 3-day conservation workshop is not an effective means for teaching the Himba about ecology and climatic science. So by establishing a residence there, I can bring new knowledge, new ideas, and be a conduit to resources that are available to them. I think it's important for a community development officer to introduce relevant resources and ideas, and also to demonstrate that there have been effective food sovereignty programs in effect in other parts of the world that they might draw some knowledge from. For instance, in the Southwest where I live, it's a very arid region, and our Native American cultures have developed low-tech solutions to prolonged drought in conjunction with Western science. So you see soil health practices, community garden projects, natural resource surveys. All of these are part of long-lasting planning for the future. The Himba have a rich culture connection to Namibia and the Kunini region. They're not impoverished at all. They just are not able to adapt quickly enough to the current climatic events. So with skills, training, and a meaningful exchange of information, I think we can inspire innovation so that the Himba are able to create opportunities for their own future. They are in charge of their destiny, and I can be an effective mentor, introduce new skills to the community. I would also be in charge of gathering data and logging in positive and negative outcomes for every step of the process in community development to share those ideas with other community development officers in Africa. A quick budget justification here for $91,000 for 2 years would include materials for drilling a borehole, building community garden projects, hiring assistants for my work and interviews, and also my living expenses and a vehicle. I just want to thank you today for listening, and I hope that this conversation can continue. There's a lot of work that we can do with a very small amount of money and have a long-lasting impact on Namibia and the Himba people. Thank you.